Today I'm joined by one of my colleagues, Jorden Bres. Jorden is strength and conditioning coach, and over the years Jorden has literally made a transition from working as a junior S&C coach to working with very high level athletes, amongst them Epke Zonderland. If you don't know who Epke Zonderland is, Google it. But no, Epke is Olympic champion, dominated the sport of gymnastics for literally 2 years, of world champion, Olympic champion, European champion, anything.
I think longer.
Yeah. Jorden also worked with Olympic medalists in speed skating.
Yeah.
And now working successfully with the Dutch Judo squad.
Yeah.
Collecting medals at the World and European Championships. And Jorden is also your successful personal trainer, or at least coach of personal trainers, right? So
Coach of.
Trying to bring
more or less, but
bringing principles of strength and conditioning into personal training.
Yeah.
Nice. Welcome, Jorden.
Thank you. Nice to be here. Cool. Finally.
Yeah, finally.
In our busy jobs.
In our busy profession. So, Jorden, how did you get into strength and conditioning?
Well, that's a long time ago, but I did judo myself. And besides that, I did a lot of strength training myself because I liked it. I did it. I read all the muscle and fitness magazines, and from the 80s and the 90s, and we copied all the programs and got injured, and we learned from that and blah blah. But till the day of now, I still like strength training. I like to do that, and it gives me a lot of motivation. It's relaxation and all those kind of things. But when I quit with judo due to an injury, I was thinking, okay, I want to do more in the field of strength training, strength and conditioning, whatever you want to call it. And I always had contact with high-level athletes, some friends of mine or some people I trained with, and I always liked the dedication of them, the motivation and the drive and the passion. And so I was asking myself the question, okay, what am I going to do now? And at that time I was working at the military as a sports instructor, so I got in contact with some other people, and they said, okay, why are you not going to look at the field of S&C working with high-level athletes? So and that got me thinking, and so then Henk Grol, the famous judo player from Holland, I trained with him a few times, and he was training with us, and so I was asking him, who is doing the strength training for you? And then he got me in contact with his old strength and conditioning coach, and so I was looking a little bit, okay, what am I going to do after the military? And then my girlfriend said, okay, just go call them and go visit them, go invest, travel a lot. It's going to cost us a lot of money, but travel and do, because that's what you want to do. Yeah. So then I got in contact with the guy, and I traveled many times to Haarlem. It was a lot of traveling, cost a lot of money, but the guy, he really got me. He could talk about the field of S&C with a lot of passion, and so I learned a lot of things from him, and I invested more than a year visiting almost weekly him and his athletes, and then he asked me the question, okay, we need somebody next to me, is it something for you? And then, I didn't have to think about it, and I said, yes, that's what I want to do. It was not for the money, because it was not a lot of money. Actually, it cost me money again, but I did that 3 times a week, and that in combination with another job I did, that was teaching young kids, sporting and blah blah. So that was a bit how I came into the field. So that was a little bit of the starting point.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, really interesting.
So as an S&C coach, what was your darkest moment?
That's still a little bit hard to talk about. If you know how long and what it takes for an athlete to work for. I don't have to tell you anything about it, but an athlete works 4 years for just one moment of fame. And I think the darkest moment was, talking about a moment, it was the Olympics of Rio 2016. I had Epke prepared for him after the success in London, Olympic champion, and in the time between London and Rio, he got 2 times world champion, European champion, so a lot of success. And then finally for the Olympics in Rio, he was, after a lot of injuries, real bad injuries, the last 2 months he got fit again, and it seemed all real good, also the week before the final. And then 1 hour and a half he got injured again in the warming up, his finger, but then when he was starting it was good, but he fell off the bar. That moment, that was a dark moment. One of the darkest moments, I think, because he was capable to get that medal again. So especially for him, I felt so, and to be honest, I had some tears when I was sitting on the couch, and I was really, especially for him, it's working up to there for 4 years. And that was also for a few athletes for the judo squad, for Henk Grol, Dex Elmond, we had Kim Polling. We hoped for a few medals for them, and then that, I think, speaking about the darkest moments, those were the darkest moments, I think. Yeah,
I can relate to that. I think in Rio, some of my athletes did really well, but some of them were also below expectations. I mean, their own expectations. Because they are going there to medal, and then they don't do it, and then it's tough to see. Also, leading up to the Rio Olympics, some athletes didn't qualify. They worked so hard for it, and they don't qualify last minute. It's tough for a coach to see.
It's really tough.
I can see that.
So really tough moments.
Did you learn anything from these moments? How has it influenced your life now?
Learn. At least that's what I do when we have a big tournament like Europeans, Worlds or Olympics. If one of the athletes I'm training doesn't do well what you're hoping or predicting before, then you're going to evaluate, and the first thing I do, I'm going to evaluate my own work, what I did working up to that moment. So that's what I always did. I'm always critical to myself. And what I learned, I think what we both know, is that working with high-level athletes, it's a split of a second. It can be done in a split of a second, and that's what you know. But if you have that moment, then it's still so tough. It's so it's still hard to deal with that. And I think that's what we feel with the athletes. And what are you learning from that? It can be very tough sometimes. It can be very, very hard. It's so rude. It's so, I think a lot of people from outside who don't work with high-level athletes, they don't understand it. But you have to see it and you have to feel it. And like I said with Epke, when that happened, I was crying on the couch. I was literally crying. Why? Tell it to somebody outside. It's so I really don't know how to tell what's difficult about it, but it's hard.
What was your best moment?
My best moment was, I think, by far the golden medal Epke got at the Olympics in London. It was really famous what he did over there. And talking about chicken skin, I get it again. But that was one of the most beautiful moments I had. Crying on the couch again. But then the positive part of it. And besides that, it was 2013 when he became for the first time world champion. Yeah, and also one of the most beautiful results was with Margot Boer, one of the speed skaters. She in Sochi, the Olympics, she got bronze at the 500 meters and 1000 meters. That was one of the most beautiful moments. Yeah.
Yes.
So but besides that, when an athlete gets European champion or whatever, it's all that's what you're working for. That's what you're doing it for. Yeah.
What advice would you give your younger you?
My younger you. That's a difficult one.
So you go back in time, 20 years?
Yeah.
What do you tell?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. You do everything out of, at least spoken for myself, I do everything out of passion. And I think that's one of the most important things you need to have and to do in this field. As an SSC coach, you must have a lot of passion because it's a 24/7 job. That's a hard question. I really don't know what to say about it. No.
Okay.
That's a good one. I don't know what to change. No, it's a difficult one.
Yeah, but that's maybe the answer, right? So do what you want to do.
Yeah. And do it from out of passion, and you always do it for the best of the athletes.
Yeah.
That should be your intention.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, difficult one.
Yeah. I had an interview with Alexei Torokti, the weightlifter, and also Mark Teutert, and both of them said the same. I wouldn't change anything.
No.
I would just probably tell myself, keep going and believe in yourself.
Yeah, and I think that is what I've learned from out of the past, and that's what I took with me now 10 years further.
Yeah.
So now I can say I got the experience from 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And that made me a better coach, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a little bit...
Yeah. And if a young aspiring SMC coach comes up to you and wants to break into the industry, what do you say?
Well,
what advice would you give? So now
you're already starting to smile, and you know me as a practical guy. And one of my quotes, I always say practice what you preach, but a few weeks ago I gave a seminar, and then one of the trainers there asked me, what is your best education you had? I said my best education is on the work field.
Yeah.
Train yourself your ass off. Yeah. You don't have to be a world champion powerlifting. You don't have to be a world champion Olympic lifting. You don't have to be a bodybuilder who has 4% body fat. That's not important. But you have to lift, and because you're working daily with high-level athletes, you have to feel what they are doing.
Yeah.
You can write the most beautiful papers where it says, okay, you have to do 4 to 6 reps of this and this weight. But if you see an athlete doing squats, for example, and you see after 2 reps, it's not going good, and the paper says, no, you have to do 4 to 6, and they got injured by the 3rd or 4th rep, then you got a problem. But I think if you have a lot of experience in lifting, then you can see and feel what the athlete is feeling. Then you can say after the 2nd rep, okay, put the bar away, and it's done. So I think that's one of the things I would give to younger aspiring SNC coaches. Train a lot, and besides that, go to SNC coaches who worked long with high-level athletes who got medals on Europeans, Worlds, Olympics, and ask them. Just ask. Yeah. Many times. I think that's one of the best things you can learn. I think that's one of the main important things, and besides that, you have to read a lot. You have to go to seminars, to clinics, all those kind of things. I think that's one of the most important things I would mention to young aspiring SNC coaches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know you for a few years now, and I know you have heavily invested in continuing education. Time and financial resources as well.
Yeah.
Would you recommend that as well to young coaches?
Yeah, still, it's in the beginning, it's going to cost you a lot of money, but then again, if you do it well, then it also will pay you off. Is that correctly said?
I guess so.
Yeah, it pays off, and that. But that's what I mean. Also, outside of our field, you always have to invest in yourself, because otherwise you're gonna stand still. And if you're gonna get still, then it's not gonna bring you anything. So you have to invest, and that's what I still do. I think 2 months ago I went to Canada for a seminar for 3 days. Yeah, it's investing, but yeah, I still want to keep educate myself, and because of that's what I mean. My athletes, they a little bit they ask that from the staff around them. You know, I think it doesn't matter which sport you're talking about, but it's continually growing. You know, more countries are coming, so it's going to be difficult to be on the highest level always. So I think also as an S&C coach, you have to keep educating yourself.
I think that's a good point. You want to be up to date with the latest developments. True. If we're talking about coaching, what's your coaching philosophy?
Well, my coaching philosophy, I have some philosophy, but if we're talking about the basics, I mean, that's where it all starts. You know, the basics, they should be right. And from out of there, you're going to build and you're going to continue. And like we spoke before, and that's also what you think, you know, you need to get the job done. You know, what's on the paper, you know, you need to do that. And of course, sometimes you have to skip an exercise, or you have to skip a set, or you have to skip some reps, but that's what you have to adjust on the training itself, but the job needs to get done. And that's where we also spoke about many times. You know, it's our field of S&C, it's we see ourselves more as artists, you know, not like scientists. There's a lot of scientific research, and that's okay, we check that always. But if you look at what happens in our field, it's sometimes it doesn't match with the scientific research. And that's what I like about our field, you know, and that's why we call ourselves sometimes artists. You know, you have to jump in on what's happening in the gym. So I think that's one of the most important things.
And when you say get the basics right, what would you say are the basics?
Well, first you need to move right. So if you don't move right, then there's a big chance you're going to get injured. And I don't want that an athlete get injured in my session, because I didn't. Some things I didn't do good. You know, didn't screen them well or whatever. So first look at how they move, and are they capable to do some of the basic lifts? Are they capable to do a regular back squat? Well, if they don't, then look for regression forms, and that's the same for other exercises. So, that's what I mean with basics.
What are your core values as a coach?
You mean for the athletes?
How you communicate with the athletes? I mean, what's important? Trust?
I got a few points. You know, you have to be on time. That's for us normal things. You know, you have to have all your clothing done. But besides that, rules are rules. You know, the program is the program, but we can adjust some things. And I'm not telling that I'm the boss and you have to do it like this. No, because the athlete, he has to get the job done. You know, now I'm working full time with judo players. They have to go on the tatami on the judo mat. I have to prepare them. So they have to do the job. So we're going to talk about the program, and if they think, okay, maybe it's better to change this or change that, I'm going to do that. You know, but you also have some younger athletes who playing a little bit with them. I'm not going to do that. No, you have to do this, so do it. So I think I'm very clear. clear what needs to get done.
Which person has influenced you the most and why?
Good one. I've seen many people in the past 10, 12 years, but I think one of the most important is my girlfriend. And you know, she doesn't know shit about the field of S&C. She can train herself. You know, I write programs for her, but then we're talking about personal training. But she always motivated me and stimulated me to. You know, she showed me that this was my passion. You know, this was what I wanted to do. So she always said, no, travel, although it's going to cost her money, just do it. Just, you know, that's what you want. Just follow your heart. And she always stimulated me till the day of now. So, yeah, she's very important for me. Yeah, and besides that, if we're talking about S&C coaches, I still think Charles Poliquin, you know, sadly died a few months ago. But I met him a few times. You know, he was, I think, very. Yeah, I got a lot of thanks for him. You know, he got me thinking about a lot of things. Although I didn't agree with a lot of things from him, but you know, with him, hard work pays off.
Yeah.
If you wanna get a gold medal at the Olympics, you have to work your ass off. That's simple. Yeah. But then again, he got me thinking about a lot of things. Yeah, and in all those years, you meet a lot of people. You know, if we are talking about our field, then if we're talking with each other, then I think we can talk for a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's for now one of the most important things. You learn from each other. So yeah, in all of those years, yeah, you meet a lot of people.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, when you start, you know, you meet one person, and then you think, okay, that's it. You know, you got a tunnel vision. But in the years, you see their people, and then your tunnel vision gets more broad, and then you got your own philosophy. Yeah. But still, when you talk with someone or you go to a seminar, still you got some percentages from that you get and from that, and you know, still I got my own philosophy, but still you change a little bit of things.
Yeah. I think that's really what I've seen with you over the years. Is, I mean, once you started your education with Poliquin, you were pretty much that's how it has to be. Yeah. And I think you got a lot of respect from me. That, you know, I think you've developed your own philosophy. Yeah. I mean, I think you've taken a lot of things from him, but I think you are very different now than you 6 years ago, where you know you just learned from him, and then and again, I think a lot of things he does is good, but I think for a coach it's always important to have your own philosophy. Exactly. See what works.
That's what you need to have. Yeah. But that's also we spoke about young aspiring S&C coaches. Don't look at one person. Yeah. You know, there are a lot of good S&C coaches. Yeah. There are a lot of good trainers, and so pick from every coach, pick something, and you know, fill your own bag and make your own philosophy. Yeah,
I agree on that. Yeah. Okay, if we're talking about coaching athletes, many times an athlete has an idea of what's best for them, but that's not always what the coach thinks. It's best for the athletes. Yeah. How do you deal with that? I mean, you know, you want to bring across what you think is best. Yeah. But the athlete might have a different opinion. How do you deal with that?
Now that's what I like, because then the athlete is thinking about his own program. And I think if the athlete wants to develop himself, then you need to think about your own project. So that's the first thing I like. And then I see myself as an employee of the athlete. You know, we are our job is to get him better. Yeah. So I don't see him as a boss, but you can see him as a boss because he has to do the job. So now talking with the athletes, I'm going to talk with the athletes. Okay, why do you think that? Tell me, explain me. I want to learn that. I want to know why. And then I'm going to give my philosophy. And I'm not a coach who's going to say, okay, we're going to do it my way, because that's not going to work. But if I think that my philosophy is the best, then I'm going to try to convince him. But if he still doesn't want to do some of the things, then I'm not going to say, okay, I'm not going to do that. No, because he still has to do the job. Yeah. So I think it's a cooperation. You know, you need to cooperate and try to get the best for the athlete.
Yeah.
So talking a lot with the athletes, I think that's a really important thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
And then in a team, most of the times we are more people than just coach, athlete, and S&C coach.
Yeah.
So everyone has his own opinion on things, which is correct, right? And sometimes there's conflicting opinions. How do you deal with that? Or what's your thought process if a decision is, for example, that is taken and you're not in full agreement? What do you do?
And the decision is taken by?
You know, most of the times it's the head coach, right?
Yeah.
But that's what you just said, right? I don't want to put the words into your mouth, but I'm the same as you. I think we are there to make the athlete better. And it's a coach-run program.
Yeah.
But sometimes still it happens that whatever the coach decides, we don't believe is best. What do?
Then I think it's the same as you do with an athlete. First you're going to try to convince, in this case the coach, the head coach, you're trying to convince him why his meaning is not the correct meaning. Trying to convince him. And if he doesn't want to change those things, then you're still there for the athlete.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to talk with the athlete about it. I'm not going to tell the athlete, okay, your coach is thinking this, and I'm thinking this, and I don't think it's good for you, blah blah, because then you're going to make a little bit of war, and that's not what you want.
No.
That's not our profession, and we need to stay away from that.
Yeah.
So let that be clear. But I had it in the past with a few coaches. You try to convince them, and if you can't convince them, I mean, that's a little bit black and white, because they always go a little bit with you, and then you have to adjust the little things.
Yeah.
But still keeping in mind that you're there for the athlete to make him better.
Yeah.
But not involve the athlete with it.
Yeah.
Let the athlete stay out of it.
Yeah.
They have to focus on their job.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think one of the really talking about core philosophies or core values for me is the athlete needs to be confident in that what we are doing is the best for them.
Yeah.
And if there's any conflict somewhere,
Yeah.
we need to at least sort it out ourselves before.
Yeah. Well, you see it many times when we as a staff and the athlete enter a big tournament. They're going to get a little bit nervous, there's going to be a little bit more tension, and then some coaches are a little bit doubting, you know what I mean? And then sometimes you see, okay, well, we have to change this and we have to change that. Okay, keep calm, trust the process, and continue.
Yeah.
So it's difficult sometimes.
So in the life of an S&C coach, how does a typical training day look like? Or a typical day?
But like I told you before, it's a 24/7 job. And in my job, I start at 7:50, 7:15. So my alarm goes at 5:15, and step in the car by 6 o'clock, and do that for many years, so you get used to it. I start early, and then I think my sessions, they go to 11:30, 12 o'clock. Then I take a break for myself for 30 minutes or an hour, because mentally you need to have some rest, because you got so many athletes and you need to stay focused for the athletes. So it costs a lot of energy. And then after 1 o'clock it depends. I got a session with a physiotherapist or with a coach or whatever.
Yeah.
Talking about the field, talking about a lot of things. And talking about writing programs, we've spoken many times before about it. I think we are artists, If we're writing programs, then that's one of the most important things. And speaking for myself, I want to do that private, Then I do it at home. I'm sitting upstairs at the office, close the door, shut completely off, and then writing programs. And sometimes we go off topic, because I think that's the passion we have for our field. But sometimes my girlfriend comes upstairs and said, "What the fuck are you doing? It's a mess over here, all papers and blah blah." I said, "Yeah, you know, I have to make a periodization for this and this athlete." And okay, and then she's asking and she's smiling. Okay, I know what you're doing. Okay, I go downstairs again. See you in a few hours. So I don't think it's not every day is the same. I think we have 7 days a week because we also do things in the weekend. And in the morning it's the same, but from then it differs. You know, in the evening our telephone goes. We got a lot of messages and we have to react on that. And so yeah, not every day is the same. Yeah.
Okay. If you design a training program for the athlete, how do you do that? Take us through the thought process.
Okay, try to keep it basic. If we're talking about a high-level athlete who has to be prepared for example World Championships, okay, let's say we start a year before, then what I do is with the coach we count back. So we take the moment, so let's say the World Championships in 2019, and then we're going to count back. We're going to count back first in months, and then we look, okay, well, now this is starting point, okay, which tournaments can we do till the Worlds, so that's some kind of basic macro planning. So we're going to count back from the main event till where we're starting now. And then we're going to look how many months we have, how many weeks we have. Okay, and then we're going to look, okay, what kind of tournaments are we going to do, working up to the main event, where are the training camps, and then we're going to divide that in pieces. So we're going to make mesocycles. And within those mesocycles, we're going to divide them again in microcycles. And yeah, and then working up to the main event, then in the meantime, we still have to adjust some things. But in big lines, we're going to make a how do you call it? We're going to make visual how we're going to work towards the main event. That a little bit what I mean.
Yeah. So visual means also for the athlete to understand how it works?
in big lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we always know, okay, maybe there's going to be a little injury. Maybe we have to go to an extra tournament to try out new techniques or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe we have to skip a tournament, so we have a longer preparation period, so we have to adjust things again.
Yeah.
But in big lines, we're going to work it out. And then divide it in smaller periods, so mesocycles, and we're going to divide them again in smaller periods, like microcycles for a week or 2 weeks or whatever.
Final question, do you want to nominate someone to be interviewed?
Yeah, I think it's very interesting to nominate Epke. I think that's very nice to get an interview by him.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, and it's a very interesting person.
Yeah.
I think he has a lot of things to tell. I think a lot of athletes can learn many things from him. How he devotes his time to being a high-level athlete, to be so long on that platform. I think that's terrific. Yeah. So that would be a nice person to have. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks, Jorden.
Yeah, thank you.